I know what you're thinking. How? It's a wonderful show so far. We're having a great time. But how are you going to top an idiotic response like that about the Bannon FBI surrender, the concept of executive privilege? How are you going to do it? Who could be dumber? Oh, thank God. Oh, it's Bongino who is looking for teepee for his bunghole. You look like a red condom broke. Seriously, dude, try harder. Do you do your hair with a marker? All right, here we go. This is Bongino show clips. By the way, he named it this because Joe Rogan's clips that he posts are called Joe Rogan show clips. And so this is original. There is one set of rules for leftists and another for you, capital Y-O-U. Which is, I'm guessing, what this graphic will say once it's after the big splotch. This is, we're turning to the CCP, clearly. There's one set of rules for leftists and another view of, if a leftist goes to jail, they just eat whatever the food is there. But if a January 6er goes, they get organic food. It's a different set of rules. I'm afraid, though, for democracy right now. I feel like I should I should be wearing a Gadsden flag as a diaper just to protect myself from the fear that I will be overwhelmed with. Please tell me who's leftists. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what they don't know. They fucking don't know. So, but here's it. Yeah. Go ahead, dumbass.
For Levin TV.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I was like, he's not playing the Levin theme, is he?
Remember when Twitter made a big deal about how they wouldn't publish the Hunter Biden laptop because they wouldn't publish so-called leak?
What Hunter Biden laptop? What Hunter Biden laptop? Don't even get down this fucking road about whether or not they'll even allow it. Show me the fucking laptop. You've met Rudy. You've hung out. Take a picture with it, man. Where's your fucking Insta picture of you and Rudy holding the laptop? Where is it? Where is it? Doesn't exist. Does not. That's, by the way, why Steve Bannon calls it the hard drive from hell. He slipped. Did you notice that in the other video we showed? He said the hard drive from hell. He didn't say the laptop from hell. It's because they bought that hard drive with a mix of real and fake stuff. Hacked stuff from Hunter's phone, hacked stuff from Burisma, mixed in with fake stuff, layering things in, deep fakes and a mix of stuff, which is, I mean, you don't think the Russians would do that to control the United States of America? Are you out of your fucking mind? They wouldn't roll the dice on that? There's not going to be any blowback. Shit already sucks over there. Show me the fucking laptop. But anyways, he's not. That laptop, yeah, it's ages old. It won't even start now. Can't even update the software in it.
Materials. That story was total crap, and it's been crap from the start. They had no problem running Russia Rachel Maddow. Remember that thing she did, Joe, about the Trump tax returns? Remember the breaking news? The breaking news was hilarious. Donald Trump pays more taxes than the rest of us. That was like the breaking news. Those were leaked. Twitter.
No, he ultimately paid $741. He also got a $72 million tax refund that he should not have gotten, and the IRS wanted it back. And he was in litigation with the IRS to not have to give it back to them because he'd already fucking spent it. And that's what he called an audit. He was under audit. Yeah, $741. That's right.
No problem spreading that around. But all of a sudden, right before the election, the hacked frauds, that loser at Twitter, Jack Dorsey, with his fake beard trying to look like he's...
Well, it's actually a real beard. What? With a fake beard? What? Dude, I'm not kidding. You have scalp pigmentation tattoos. What? Also, they wouldn't run it because it was too close to the election, and they were trying to avoid what happened in 2016, not letting anybody run bullshit like that.
Knee deep in a, bohemian bar in the middle of the village. Hey, look at me. I'm the cool guy. Surprised he doesn't have like an Obi-Wan Kenobi hood. He tried, him trying to be like the shaman. This loser clearly wouldn't run.
Sorry, what shaman would that be? So Jack Dorsey's trying to be like the QAnon shaman who supports Donald Trump. And let's see.
Biden laptop story, which turned out to be real because he wanted to.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Show me a fucking picture. You have every graphics capability right there. Pop it the fuck up. Do it. Have Rudy loan it to you. I'm dead fucking serious. Where is it? Bongino, you have hung out with Rudy Giuliani. You've been at his fucking house. Where is the picture with the laptop? This is so aggravating. Like, we dealt with this a long time ago. But for fuck's sake, if any of us knew somebody who had found Eric Trump's laptop, and it was one of the biggest stories of the election cycle, and we went over to their house, how many pictures would be on everybody's Instagram of them holding up the Eric Trump laptop? How many? There is no laptop. No, it's all bullshit. Now, there are multiple hard drives, but Rudy alleges that the laptop, which doesn't exist, had what he believed to be child pornography on it. And Rudy apparently made 5 copies of the hard drive, which allegedly comes from a copy of the hard drive in the laptop, but is somehow never the hard drive that's in the laptop, or was a second hard drive within the laptop, which laptops don't have 2 hard drives. Never mind that. Rudy's copying child porn and disseminating it for political influence, which would be a contribution in kind to the Trump campaign, which is as good as cash. So Rudy Giuliani's selling child porn, and Bongino wants to be a buyer. Show it. Where the fuck is it? Where? Never happened. Honestly, in this day and age, with the fact that Rudy has a goddamn podcast, you don't think he wouldn't have that fucking thing behind his desk, sitting up during his goddamn podcast? That's the laptop right there. Why the fuck not? Where is it? And don't give me fucking copied files and bullshit like that. We gave some of the files to... Dude, I can make an email in Pages, put it in Photoshop, and then back again as a translated document and make it look like I got it from Rudy Giuliani. It's a digital document. And unless you're going to show me that laptop and an expert showing me the metadata that's in it, go fuck yourself. And so he's like, that's absolutely true. There's no laptop. Fucking show it. Let's see it. Jesus Christ. They had a 2-hour documentary dissecting an alien on television, saying it was real. Remember that shit? All this lead up, and it was obviously a rubber doll and all that bullshit. You don't think that would have been... Why have a rally? Why the fuck would you have a rally? Why wouldn't you just walk out with the laptop, hook it up to an HDMI cable, and go bada bing, bada boom, here's everything in here? Are you out of your goddamn mind? For the United States, you think, and remember, Rudy thinks, allegedly, that Joe Biden is the head of a giant crime family who has dementia and can't tie his shoes, but he's also the mastermind of a giant criminal web, right? Both. You think I would, if I was running for fucking president and I found a laptop like that and was using it comfortable, using it in my campaign, talking about it, putting it out in the news, you don't think for a fucking second I would roll up and go, Gary, hit it. It's like somebody whackety whackety. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the film from all sides. We had two experts here. We've never met these gentlemen before, like a giant magic trick. They're going to disassemble this thing as soon as we show you what's in it. Verify that everything, piss off. You can't even prove to me that Rudy's wearing pants in his goddamn podcast, much less that that just drives me nuts. Like, why? Is there any circumstance where if you were on that team, you wouldn't have, like, everybody has a goddamn picture with that thing? Anybody. Everybody would have a goddamn picture with it. And I would do my live show. I would have a green screen here. I'd have it on a shelf always, like just sitting right here, like, and with a countdown clock. How many days we've had the laptop, how many days we're gonna, start showing it to, and then I would, of course, you would just take it and download all of it onto the internet, right? Wouldn't you just, like, the whole fucking thing? There was a major hack of, and Dan, you might be aware of this. There was a major hack of some piece of shit, right-wing, low-rent, garbage version of Twitter. And apparently the asshole who ran the thing and was one of the primary investors was using a trial version of the security software, and everybody's shit got dumped onto the internet. I'm going to try, let's see. Oh, I was about to say, I was so wrong. I beg your pardon. I was about to say that 7 terabytes of information were leaked from Parlor. 7 terabytes. 7. I was wrong. I'll unlike Bongino, I will admit when I was wrong. It was 70. You guys do know Bongino is one of the people behind Parlor, right? 70 fucking terabytes of Parlor's user messages, videos, and posts leaked by security researchers. These assholes, these are the original unprocessed raw files as uploaded to Parlor with all associated metadata. That's right. See Parlor, when you put a picture on Twitter, as far as Twitter's concerned, it's a fresh picture. The metadata shows its upload date and maybe the account it came from, and if you have location services on your phone, maybe the location services that's in the picture itself. Like that when you uploaded it. Like, so where you were when you upload. In case you're looking back through and in the future, they go, remember, like, whenever you're in Wisconsin, these are the people you hang out with. Here they are. And they create a little collage like Facebook does sometimes, right? So that's a possibility. They leave that in there. That's not how Parlor works. Parlor just makes a one-to-one copy of your fucking picture, which is all the metadata originally, the phone number it came from, any personal information that your phone puts in the metadata of anything, which could be, depending on how savvy you are about your privacy settings, could be everything about you. The metadata of where you took the picture, not just where you loaded it. So if you took it at home or at somebody's house or whatever, basically their latitude and longitude is available to the entire fucking earth. And this prick wouldn't even pay for the full version of the website security form that covers this. It was like WordPerfect or some shit. Like, it was like the cheapest bullshit ever. 70 fucking terabytes. 70. This is everybody's shit. And by the way, remember, Parlor, Parlor is where all the people who were on Twitter went because they wanted freedom and they didn't want to be censored and they didn't want to be tracked by the government. WordPress, thank you. WordPerfect. I'm going way back in time. Yes, WordPress, bless you. For fuck's sake. And by the way, this is the guy, if you're a former Parlor user, or a current one even, this is the fucker you trusted with your personal information and access to every file on your fucking phone, especially if you share passwords and the name is the same, because man, how easy that is to get, right? And this is the guy who wants you to trust him about the existence of a laptop he's never fucking laid eyes on. Guaranteed. Never seen it. Been to Rudy's house bunch of times. Been to a bunch of Trump gatherings. Probably had meetings with all these fuckos. Ever seen a laptop? Nope. Just so lame. And this is even what the video's about. This asshole hasn't even gotten there.
Collude with the Democratic campaign to help get Joe Biden elected, not to publish negative information. So they said,
well, no, not to publish fabricated Russian disinfo that you would ball cradle straight to the front of the line if you thought it would help Trump maintain his petty authoritarian dictatorship bullshit.
You don't publish leaked materials. You publish Trump's tax returns. That's strange because Project Veritas was raided this past week, James O'Keefe's apartment in New York City, and leaked.
Because they say someone brought them the diary, Ashley Biden's diary, and the FBI has reason to believe they forged it, which is a crime. And they lied to the FBI in the process, trying to create artificial verification by saying, we got this document, we think it's terrible. We made a copy of it, but we turned it over to the FBI, and they received it. They have it now, and that's how you know it's real.
Materials made it to the New York Times, who ironically is being sued by James O'Keefe, and yet that's all over Twitter.
Why is it ironic? Of course he's suing them. He has to.
He notes this in this Breitbart piece. Twitter's treatment of Project.
Oh, Breitbart, thank God. Twitter's treatment of Project Veritas reveals double standard on leaked materials. November 13th. This is recent. Yes, it's terrible. It's just terrible. I'm sorry, did they allow them to post the other stuff?
Veritas reveals a double standard on leaked materials.
How? Dan, unlike you, we can all read. What the fuck do we care if Breitbart has a headline that says anything? Back it up. Let's hear it.
You think the double standard ends there? Of course it doesn't. Ladies and gentlemen, big tech hates you. It's why I've spent my whole life trying to build this parallel ecosystem. I've got more announcements coming.
Yeah. I mean, he's been working his whole life to leak 70 terabytes of his users' data, not because he hates them, not because he hates America, but because the official WordPress security software they were using cost $15 a month, and it was just too much. It's just too much. I can't do it. Is there a reason ever why you would trust someone with anything important to you if they say they've been working their whole life to fuck up this bad? This was the goal. This is the parallel ecosystem. which, by the way, is apparently a toxic waste dump. He's trying to grow strawberries in Chernobyl. That's his parallel ecosystem.
Too. They hate you. They are in the tank for the left. These are full-time leftist activists now. Here's another devastating double standard. Steve Bannon, who of course was an advisor for Donald Trump. I'm sure you knew that. He also has.
Yes, he helped him pick his aftershave, which explains all the crying on Inauguration Day 2016. It was just people's eyes were burning.
Podcast called The War Room. Steve Bannon was indicted this week on contempt of Congress charges.
Right. He didn't have to. He could have just went down and spoke. I mean, it's all trumped up and fake anyways.
Chris Steve Bannon doesn't feel he should be pulled in front of this committee to testify about what they want him to testify about. And candidly, I agree with him 100%.
Well, of course you do. Based on what, though? I don't care that he wants to. Gives a fuck what he wants to do. Nobody who committed a crime wants to go in front of a judge. Well, I take that back. The occasional domestic violence perpetrator will go, I did it and I'd do it again. She drove me crazy with the chewing all the time. There's some of those out there. Let's be honest.
Well, Steve Bannon is going to have to turn himself in because the DOJ's decided.
Wait a minute. Who?
Well, Steve Bannon is going to have to turn himself in.
Who? Wait. Beg your pardon.
Yeah, I agree with him 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Steve Bannon is going to have to turn himself in.
Well, obviously, Steve Bannon, I don't know of Steve Bannon. So I can't comment on the rest of this video because I honestly don't know the details of the case regarding Steve Bannon. And, Shetpants in the chat says Steve Bannon is guilty. You think so? Yeah, it's hard. Steve Bannon is clearly, I mean, he sounds guilty. Like he sounds next to someone, sort of loosely attached to someone who's guilty. But again, I will have to reserve judgment, and our condolences go out to Steve Bannon and his entire family if there's been any kind of miscommunication about the charges against him. He sounds sketchy as fuck, but I'm not willing to. Sorry.
The DOJ's decided to charge him for contempt of Congress. Contempt of Congress, ladies and gentlemen, wink and a nod here, is a really serious charge. If you're a Republican,
Well, no, I mean, you can answer it in court, or you had every opportunity to answer it in court. It's only a serious charge when you don't show up, you know.
Happen to be a Democrat or a Democrat enforcer like Lois Lerner, the IRS official, remember, who was knee-deep in the targeting of the conservatives by the IRS scandal? Here's an article by Politico. DOJ, no contempt charges for former IRS official Lois Lerner.
One moment, please. DOJ. No contempt charges for former IRS official Lerner. The Justice Department will not seek criminal contempt charges against former IRS official Lois Lerner, central figure in a scandal that erupted over whether the tax agency improperly targeted conservative political groups. Ronald Manchin, the former U.S. Attorney for District of Columbia, told House Speaker John Boehner in a 7-page letter this week that he would not bring a criminal case to a grand jury over Lerner's refusal to testify before the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee in March 2014. The House approved a criminal contempt resolution against Lerner in May 2014, and Manchin's office had been reviewing the issue since then. Lerner and other officials, however, are still under investigation by the FBI for the Tea Party targeting matter, which is a separate probe entirely. Lerner cited her Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate herself during congressional testimony on March 5th, so she showed up. Although then Oversight Chairman Darrell Issa said she had waived that right by giving an opening statement at the hearing 10 months earlier, where she asserted her innocence. Issa wanted her charged by the Justice Department with criminal contempt of Congress for failing to answer questions about her role in the scandal. She targeted, she she selectively cited the Fifth. She gave a statement, but then didn't answer any details for fear that she would incriminate herself, which is her constitutional right to do. By the way, that's twice, in case anybody's keeping record, that she fucking showed up to the actual hearings. She was fucking there. Issa believed that she can't give a statement claiming innocence and then not answer things that might incriminate her. Even if she goes, I will tell you that I believe I'm innocent, but my attorney has advised me not to talk about certain details because I'm not aware of my legality or the criminality of what I'm saying or doing in those situations, depending on how other things pan out, or there's a criminal proceeding around them in terms of the committee, which is not a legally binding gathering. I can say an opening statement, but I don't have to answer these statements because it's a violation of my Fifth Amendment protections. This is baseline bullshit. This is this is just reading this straight off the presses. She showed up twice and sat for congressional hearings, but evoked her Fifth Amendment right to incriminate herself during the testimony about certain things. Issa wanted her charged, saying she'd waive the right because she answered certain things. That's not how that works. What she's answering to in the committee is not a criminal proceeding. It's an investigative proceeding. There are things you can tell the Congress that might be used against you in a court of law later by anyone listening. By the way, hey, Steve Bannon, knock yourself the fuck out. You could have avoided any of this charge. You could have shown up, gave us opening statement, and then clammed the fuck up. Why the fuck wouldn't you? Don't answer any questions. You could have done exactly what Lois Lerner did, and you wouldn't have been facing a contempt charge for the same legal reason that this judge didn't put one on Lerner. Do these fuckers just, do they not know the internet exists? Is that what it is? Does Bongino, is he just confused? Does he think that because the laptop doesn't exist, neither does the rest of the internet? Is that how this shit works? Sorry, I had to reopen my computer on that one. It shut for some odd reason. Matchett said the Oversight Committee followed proper procedures in telling Lerner that it had rejected her claim of privilege and gave her an adequate opportunity to answer the committee's questions. However, Matchett said DOJ lawyers determined that Lerner did not waive her Fifth Amendment right by making an opening statement because she made only general claims of innocence. Matchett said, given that assessment, we have further concluded that it is not appropriate for the United States Attorney to present the matter to a grand jury for action where, as here, the Constitution prevents the witness from being prosecuted for contempt. You can't do it. It might, I guess my, no. I think my computer just, restarted on its own. That was weird. Hold on. Remind me later. Close it out. There you go. That was so odd. Lerner, unsurprisingly, was pleased by the announcement. Anyone who takes a serious and impartial look at the issue would conclude that Miss Lerner did not waive her Fifth Amendment rights. It is unfortunate the majority of the party in the House put politics before a citizen's constitutional rights. That's why, stupid. Now, do you think if I explained that to Bongino, he would be able to understand what I was saying? Or do you think he would just kind of seize up with panic, too many big words in a row, and would just go, it's not fair. That's just not fair. It's so not fair.
So just to be clear, they have no evidence Steve Bannon did anything wrong at all, but Steve Bannon's going to be placed under arrest for contempt.
Well, the issue they have, if you want, oops, sorry, I'm in the wrong, I can't do that. Bannon at Willard. Who was who in Trump's Willard War Room? Saturday, 2 days after that, Trump at a command center. There's Roger Stone, former National Security Advisor, General Mike Flynn, Roger Stone, founder of Proof Substack, Seth Abramson, Altman, let's see. John Eastman was there, Rudy Giuliani, Bernard Kerik, Boris Epstein, Russell Ramsland Jr., Christina Bobb. Oh, look at that. Our dear friend Christina Bobb from OAN, right? Newsmax. She Newsmax? Newsmax, right? She's the one who's been pushing the, like, harder than fucking anybody. Like, this, like, it's amazing how, and what's Ramsland's outfit happening here? This is fascinating. Anyways, Philip Lusseldorf from the Praetorian. And then, let's see, back in here. And then, yeah, nothing was happening. I don't understand. It's a big deal. Yipe. There's Eastman, Rudy. I spoke to 300 state legislators at a conference call, so-called evidence of fraud. Eastman. Hold on. I'll find the page 1 second. I need to scroll back. Stephen. There you go. There we go. Bannon's January 6th role walks the thin line between revolutionary rhetoric and revolution. That's because he talks a big fucking game, and he also knew he could bail out. Let's see. He was describing, protest outside of Twitter. I've been very upset since last night. Where's the Capitol Police and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and the security around Senator Hawley? Really? That's who you're worried about? Motherfucker gave the fist up to, thank you, OAN. Thanks, Can't Stop Lying. I mean, they all blend together at this point. Mitch McConnell started, we're going to uncharted waters. We're going to something that's never happened before in American history. Tomorrow we're pulling the trigger on something that's going to be minute by minute, hour by hour, what happens. The stakes couldn't be higher right now. This is the broader theme of Bannon's show. Let's see, these quotes were edited a bit, but it's here they appear. A contempt resolution targeting Bannon was passed Tuesday. Okay, better. In the book Peril, they talk about that, blah, blah, blah. What is clear about Bannon, specifically about his January 5th podcast, that he was very engaged in amplifying the idea that the country had reached a critical point. So he was the messaging dude. You're not a Greek chorus. He said to the audience, you're an active part of this. We're at the cusp of victory for only one reason. You are woke. Oh, I thought woke was bad. I don't know. It's weird. Bannon's criticizing for allowing the website he managed, Breitbart, to become a home of alt-right rhetoric. Oh, Breitbart? Really? Who uses fucking Breitbart stuff all the time? There you go. Something similar was a play. January 5th, Bannon was there at the Willard Hotel with Trump's allies and attorney gaming how to seize his second term by rejecting cast electoral votes, as he explicitly delineated on his podcast. And then he was using his podcast to stoke an ember of revolution that would soon grow out of control. The distinction between Bannon's revolutionary language and his endorsed revolution was, like the alt-right's racism, a subtle one. It remains unclear what Bannon knew about the events of January 6th before they unfolded. What's emerged about the violence that day so far appears to be largely organic, a function of a furious mass of people. But yeah, it was a tipping point. But again, the weird instance, the protest, Hawley's house, protest that was loud but not actually threatening. Where was security? Bannon fretted. This seemed like some kind of hand-wringing. Someone used to frame his side as the heroes and his opponents as enemies. Than of someone who expected his allies and his listeners to take his talk for a calamitous revolution literally. One of Bannon's co-hosts chimed in, I think this guy needs to have security. Mitch McConnell needs to get behind him and make sure the other senators feel safe standing up as well. The police would, in fact, soon turn their attention to the safety of the U.S. Senate. So he was there on the 5th, helping do this, and then on the 6th, he was manning the airwaves.
Congress, Lois Lerner, who was knee-deep in one of the biggest political scandals of our time, the targeting.
And showed up for congressional committee hearings twice, motherfucker, twice.
Targeting by the Obama administration of conservative groups using the IRS via Lois Lerner. She decides she's not going to go talk in front of Congress. Any contempt charges?
that is a statement of fact. That would be slander. Bongino, she did go twice.
Nah, double-barreled middle finger to America, and Congress just takes it. So does the DOJ.
Oh, do they? Or could your head be full of beer farts?
Remember Eric Holder, our Attorney General? Loretta Lynch took his place when she was meeting with Bill Clinton on the tarmac. Remember that one? Here, Politico. Judge declines to hold Eric Holder.
Well, let's see. It's probably something just nefarious as a judge declines to hold Holder in contempt. Personally, I would have put like AG Holder. Yeah. Which is what it fully says, which is why he shrunk it down. It's funny. Okay. A federal judge has declined a House committee's bid to have Attorney General Eric Holder held in contempt of court and perhaps even jailed for failing to turn over documents related to the Justice Department's response to Operation Fast and Furious. However, in a ruling Monday, U.S. District Amy Berman Jackson also denied Holder's request for an indefinite stay of her prior order that the Attorney General must turn over any non-privileged documents the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee subpoenaed as part of an investigation into the botched gun running investigation. The judge previously ruled that Holder must give the panel any documents that are not both pre-decisional and deliberative in nature. Jackson called the House contempt motion entirely unnecessary and said it was evident that she was considering the government's motion to lift her prior order. Under the circumstances, the court finds no basis to hold the defendant in contempt. She was still processing it. He was only bucking sending them stuff that were related to pre-decisional and deliberative paperwork, blah, blah, blah. But the judge also said she had no reason to allow the Justice Department to withhold an unprivileged documents until the case was complete, because they were still doing their stuff. She ordered these records turned over to the committee by November 3rd, along with log of the records claimed to be privileged. Though the court has the discretion to grant a stay in the interest of judicial economy and efficiency, pending appeal or otherwise, there is no pending appeal here. And the court has already ruled that the defendant has no legal basis to withhold non-deliberative documents. The possibility of an appeal and piecemeal litigation does not satisfy the defendant's burden to demonstrative a clear, that's an interesting use of the word, clear case of hardship or inequity without a stay, she wrote in her decision. Justice Department spokesperson welcomed the decision, at least the part rebuffing the motion to hold her in contempt. We're pleased the court rejected the committee's latest stunt. By the way, they didn't vote. There was a vote to hold Steve Bannon in contempt. This was just the committee doing it without a vote. A spokesperson for the House committee said the judge's ruling is a step towards the panel receiving documents that should have been given years ago. The Oversight Committee is pleased that the judge in the case has rejected the department's continued request to continue illegally withholding documents and its attempt to unnecessarily prolong the proceeding. This court ruling affirms that Attorney General Holder broke the law in withholding subpoenaed documents. That's not what it says at all, but sure. Which led the House of Representatives to vote him in criminal contempt. And it was rejected by the judge, because he was giving some stuff, not all the stuff. And so they made a case in court, and she found it viable. Whereas Steve Bannon has not even made that case. He just said, fuck you. He's that double middle finger that Bongino was just talking about. Yeah.
In contempt of Congress. Josh Gerstein, Politico. Eric Holder's a protected class.
Why does the fact that Josh wrote it have anything to do with it happening or not happening?
Like Lois Lerner. He's a far left liberal who protects the swamp and the status quo. Nothing's ever going to happen to him. But if you're Steve Bannon, right to jail for you, as we see in this CNN piece. They're more than happy to celebrate this. Federal grand jury.
Well, yeah, not right to jail. He turned himself in, posted bond, and went the fuck home. Right back home for you.
Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon for contempt of Congress. Justice for thee, not justice.
Justice for me.
It's for me. Ladies and gentlemen, if justice isn't going to be blind, there is no justice at all. I've said this repeatedly, and I mean it. We only have a country if we have fidelity to one set of rules. If we can't put our political biases aside and enforce one common set of rules, we have no rules at all. They're not rules if they only...
Then show up for the fucking committee hearing and tell the truth. Honest to God, if you're saying that somebody who doesn't show up, who either doesn't get a contempt charge or does get a contempt charge, is equally morally wanting, then your guy should show the moral high ground, if that's what you're arguing, by showing the fuck up.
Apply to one side, they're suggestions. A constitutional republic can't survive on suggestions.
Well, right. That's one of the reasons why we had a problem with Trump. And you didn't, because you believed he should be in a fiefdom.
Last thing before I get to this last story. You know my rule about citing your education credentials. If you ever do it, you sound like an idiot.
No. Everyone, if you cite yours, people are surprised what an idiot you are. They can't believe you had any schooling. That's what that look on their face means. I think you're just misreading the room.
One of the things I took away from some of my work in psychology when I was in school is animals, humans, whatever. There's little.
It's really not Is there a difference? I don't think so. Of course, this guy voted for a guy who can't pass a flag without trying to fuck it. So
It bothers him more than a fundamental sense of unfairness. You can give a dog food until it's ready to throw up. Yet if you give the dog next to him in a cage more food than you gave him or more often, the dog in the cage that's satiated, it's not even hungry, will lose its mind because you gave the other dog more food.
So this is basically you defining what your show is.
Even animals understand fundamentally the concept of unfairness. This is what's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a black BLM activist, you can go on TV and openly call for bloodshed and violence. Nobody's going to say a damn thing to you.
Well, apparently, I think he's referencing, by the way, a BLM activist that he had on his show that he found that would absolutely call for violent uprising. Meanwhile, he's defending Steve Bannon, who's calling for the very same thing. And it's just like, well, if I use wink and a nod language, I can get away with it.
If you're a leftist, contempt of Congress, flip Congress the double-barreled middle finger. They won't do anything. If you're Steve Bannon, right to...
Well, no, as a leftist, I assume you mean the IRS agent Lerner and Eric Holder. They went through the actual process, defended their position in court, and got a ruling around those issues. He was found not in contempt by the judge going through the process, but he didn't have to be served with a subpoena. And especially Lois Lerner, she spoke to committee twice. You dumb shit.
For you. If you're on the right and you call out the Russia hoax for what it was, a hoax from the start, you're a conspiracy theorist. If you're on the left, you win a Pulitzer Prize.
So if left-wingers called out as a hoax... No, because Glenn Greenwald didn't win a Pulitzer Prize, but I wouldn't call him left. I would call him faux left. He's a faux aggressive. There's a lot of that going around. Insofar as explain how it's a conspiracy, though. I mean, I know you like to drop these it's you can see it. But I'm going to need a little more detail, especially as much detail as I'm able to throw around just off of single sentences you throw out. Also, if any of the articles that I've shown, like that 70 terabytes of data were leaked from Parlor because you don't give a fuck and are too cheap to pay $15 a month in security software, call me out. Go for it. You cheap son of a bitch.
We all understand unfairness. We all understand what's going on right now.
Yeah, that's what the right has always wanted. We've been misunderstanding them. What they've been after all this time is just fairness. Just fair. All they want is everything to be fair. Everybody to just have a fair shot of No, I'm just fucking with you. That's actually what Biden was talking about. They were saying something about like life isn't fair. Go fuck yourself or something.
You just heard the Dan.
That's it. That's what we're landing on. Bongino. That's where we go.